On Saturday evening then at 7 p.m, the Dominic Smith Electrical Senior Football Championship quarter final, Chadwicks Wexford Park, again it's Castletown against the Sarsfields. The Sarsfields got through their group, they with only one win in their group, but they did get two important draws in big games against the teams that were sort of in around them in the group. They opened up with an important win over Bunclody by 213 to 110 before going down 4-8 to 2-7 against Gusrana Rallies. They had a draw against St James's in round 3, 2-7 to 110, and then another draw against Nevena, 11 points apiece, before finishing up their group stages with a 4-point defeat to the county champion Shelmaliers. Castletown, on the other hand, then have had 3 victories in the group. They opened up with a facile win over St Anne's by 3-18 to 5 points, and then they were knocked back by Crossabeg Ballymurn by 2-8 to 10 points, but they regrouped well against Glenbarntown with a 2-point victory before a draw against their local rivals Kyle Nairn in Gorey in Páirc Uí Síochána, and then they had a comprehensive victory over the Starlights in the last group game. Darragh, I'd say that the Sarsfields have shown character to get through to this. There was sort of a mini league, I'd say, in that group, and they got through it with two big games.
Yeah, look, it was between kind of ourselves, Bunclody and Sarsfields there near the end, and Gorey were thrown in there at times as well. But look, Sarsfields, they haven't got out of a group since in a long time, so for them to get to the quarter final is themselves, they'd be delighted to get there. But now that they're there, I'm sure that they want to push on one step further and get to a semi-final, you know. Look, I've been very impressed with them so far this year. I've seen a good few of their games. You have Alex Kirby, you have Shane Hall had a great game the last day. Looking at, I think Darby Purcell is probably one of the best forwards of this year's championship so far. And when you have Cathal Curran there, his free taking has been absolutely excellent all year, and that's a big thing when it comes to senior football. You need to take your frees when you get them. We were unfortunate not to beat them really. At the same time, we could have threw it away the last 2 minutes. They had a chance themselves to go point up. But they have been a very dogged team, and they're a team that you don't really want to play against either when it comes to it, you know. Again, it's a different perspective from this year, where they're looking up the table rather than looking down the table. So it's great to see them making that step to a quarter final, because they have a very, very young team and it's full of prospects for the future. So look, they obviously have the fight there. They fought back twice to get 2 hard-earned draws. They did that. Against Gorey, I was praying for a result either way that day would have went their way, but unfortunately the draw was one result we didn't want, but they got it. But look, they showed great character that day to come back against a strong Gorey team, that to be said as well. It wasn't just a team that was thrown out there or anything. It was 2 teams that went hell for leather at the game and showed great character, and that's going to stand to when it comes to the quarter-final stages.
And the Castletown kind of knocked you for 6 in the last game, to be honest. They hit the gears. And what are the strengths of Castletown?
I'd say that they hit us for about 120 to be precise. But, it's funny one. Look, they're obviously a very, very strong team. They have a lot of experience, and they're leader by a lot of county men, and experienced county men as well, you know. But I suppose that day we done okay for the first maybe 20 minutes of it, and going into half time maybe we were 4 points behind, but they came out the second half and just completely blew us out of the water. You know, you could say we didn't perform maybe to our ability, but they were exceptional. You know, they were scoring points that was, you know, it was outstanding points from team scores to just individual scores, and right across the board from everyone as well. So look, I found it very, very, very they were structured, they seemed to have runners, they were intense on the ball, they were chasing down everything from the forwards out. So look, they're a strong team. I suppose the one question over Castletown this year was going to be, they're going to miss Ben Brosnan. You know, he's a big chunk of their scoring, and he's probably been their top scorer since he joined the club. Now he's gone, what do you do? You know, sometimes that can go one way or the other. Do you come together as a unit, or when you take that star player off your team, you tend to look for everybody else rather than just that one player, you know. So but you know, Robbie Brooks has stepped up there. There's Jonathan Beelan's back as well. You could list them off, you know. There's the experienced players. Liam Coleman is driving it on, and right throughout from even Darragh Brooks out from the back. You know, it's an all round you know, really strong team and really well structured.
I'm going to ask you as well, as the goalkeeper that faced it, like, they do sort of press hard on kickouts, and it must be very hard to try and find players in space against them. Yeah,
it was, and when we played them a couple of weeks ago, that was the one thing, you know, they'd done a zonal press, and they were very good at the zonal press, you know, and we found it very hard to So we try and set up some sort of structure where we go short, go long, have as much options as possible, and there didn't seem to be any options for me. But yeah, again, like I said, that comes from, there seem to be not just a set of good players, but there's obviously a good management team there behind them, because they're very well drilled and very well set up in all scenarios, you know.
Yeah, and I'd say, Darragh, like the one thing I really like about the Sarsfields, you mentioned it already, is their fighting quality. I think they'll be looking to try and stay as close as they can, and you know, if they're there with a shout 10 minutes, I wouldn't write them off.
No, definitely, that's what you have to do with the likes of Castletown and Chelmleers. The teams that are fighting to win a championship, you have to stay with them. If you can stay with them, you're always in with a chance. So like, the Sarsfields will be looking, but they'll need their young players to step up, and I think now is the perfect time for them to do that. You know, the shackles are off, they can finally probably stop worrying about relegation and start just playing football the way they can. Like, look at Alex Kirby, who's going to be probably tasked with the man-marking job of one of the numerous forwards that Castletown have, but he's well capable of doing that. And if he can keep one of them quiet, well, then that's less scores for Castletown. Then looking at Shane Hall, centre-back, has had a good year so far. He starts their attacks from the centre-back position, really. And he had a great game the last day as well. Then you're looking at Cathal Corwin with the free taking as well. Again, I said it already, but that's going to be vitally important when it comes to it. And I think if you get Darby Purcell on the ball, and if Luke Murphy is there as well, possibly if Luke can show his form that he's capable of, I think Sarsfields will cause Castletown some problems.
Okay, and we'll go for the predictions then. And Pa, what's your call on this one?
Yeah, look, obviously Castletown are probably favourites again up there to win the whole championship out. But like Darragh said, you know, it's probably the first year where Sarsfields they don't have to rely on Elite Sheen anymore. They've a really good bunch of young players coming through. They've you know, probably one of the top 5 footballers in Wexford and Dylan Furlong come through, an established county player that's going to inspire all that young team coming through as well. So look, it's going to be very, very difficult for Sarsfields, there's no doubt about that, but they could challenge them, they could push them. But if to put my name on the line here, I have to go with Castletown for this one.
Okay, Darragh.
I think it's going to be a battle of youth versus experience, really, when it comes to this game. And I do think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. But I think the experience is going to win out in this case, and I'm going to give Castletown a nod as well.
Yeah, I think the experience and the level of talent that they have, and I suppose their structure that they have over the last couple of years, and I suppose when you lose in a final, you want to get back and try and win it the following year. So I'm going to go for Castletown in this game by 2 points.